12 Rules for Life, An Antidote to Chaos by Jordan B. Peterson. We all know that lies are wrong. It's drilled into most of us from a very early age to tell the truth. It seems so simple. Just tell the truth. Peterson unpacks the issues surrounding truth and lies with great detail and precision. He explains how lying to yourself might be even more damaging than lying to others. Here's a summary of Rule 8. Tell the truth, or at least don't lie. Okay, so first we have to define our terms, or rather, Jordan Peterson's terms. Everyone knows that a lie is saying something you shouldn't because you know it's false, but Peterson's definition is a lot broader. For him, lies also includes doing something you know you shouldn't because you know it's wrong. Saying or doing something you shouldn't are lies of commission. Commission has the same origin as the word commit, to do something. Peterson also includes lies of omission. This is when you don't say anything, but you know you should. And when you don't do anything, but you know you should. You omit to do the right thing. To sum up, Peterson's definition of lying means saying something you know is wrong, doing something you know is wrong, not saying something when you know you should, and not doing something when you know you should. Okay, on we go. Sometimes lying can seem like the right thing to do. You can spare hurt feelings or loss of face. In truth, though, we're often drawn to this because it's the easiest option. Even well-intentioned or white lies are usually used to avoid confrontation, but in fact it's just storing up more trouble for later. If your partner does something you disapprove of, tell the truth. It's better that you both understand each other and get things out in the open than storing up resentment, which will eventually come out later anyway. Used properly, words are a tool to represent the world as we see it. But if we want to deceive others, we can use words to the opposite effect, to manipulate the world and warp reality. People usually lie as a way of getting something that they want. For example, they want to be right. Imagine someone making a mistake, but instead of admitting it, they use words to misrepresent the facts and deceive others into believing their account of events. This kind of lie is generally short-term, but some lies can run on for decades and are self-defining. For people who live a life lie, the lie forms a lens through which they then view everything else. Deep down, they know it's a lie, and that's why it ultimately destroys them. An example of a life lie could be, my life's perfect. If you live this particular lie, then you won't try to improve, you won't fight for what you want, you won't complain when mistreated, and you won't reveal yourself to others, or even to yourself. As a result, you can't grow. The truth that your life isn't actually perfect will slowly consume you as it becomes more apparent and less easy to deny. Life's hard. You need meaning as a counterbalance. But by lying to yourself in this way, you're denied any meaning. You end up bitter, resentful, buggered basically. Getting what you want, an improved life for example, means speaking your mind. In other words, speaking the truth to yourself and to others. Admitting that your life's not all it could be means that you strive for and ask for what you want. In this way, by telling the truth, you realize your potential. There are two reasons a person might adopt a life lie. The first is that they can't face the harsh truth of existence, and so try to manipulate reality to make it more bearable. But it's not a happy thought that reality should be so unbearable, nor that it can be manipulated. Only a cynical and hopeless philosophy says reality is improved by manipulation. Another route to the life lie is the failure to be humble about what you know. It's the belief that your current knowledge is enough to define what's good, and therefore you know all you need to know, now and into the future. But this must be wrong. What you're striving for at the moment might not be the best thing. What you were aiming for when you were 10 is not the same thing that you're aiming for when you're 20. And your values and goals will have undoubtedly changed again within another decade. We continually adjust our aspirations, using the knowledge which we've accumulated through life. So, how can you avoid living a life lie? The first thing to do is to accept reality. Here's a true statement. Life's really hard, and there's lots of suffering around. Here's another one. 100 years from now, you and I and everyone we know will all be gone. On the whole, people don't like to hear these kind of truths. It makes them uncomfortable. It's tempting to turn away and not see it. But life's better lived in full view of all the facts. Facing the truth with your eyes wide open, you can make more rational judgments about what's important and what's not. In other words, you can formulate your values. And with these values, you can set better, more informed goals for yourself. You can then move towards your goals, and in doing so, gradually improve as a human being. Nietzsche hit the nail on the head when he said, and I quote, "The strength of a person's spirit is measured by how much truth he can tolerate, or more precisely, to what extent he needs to have it diluted, disguised, sweetened, muted, or falsified." The next way to avoid life lies is to be humble. The truth means the truth as you see it, at the present moment, based on your accumulated knowledge and experience. The less experience and knowledge you have, the more likely it is that your understanding is actually off the mark. But the only way to find out is to get out there and give it your best shot. This is not an act of submission, it's an act of faith, and it takes courage. You have to be humble and accept that your knowledge is limited, and make sure that you keep learning. Modify your understanding of how the world works. Reformulate your values and your goals as you go along. Only by following this path, seeing and telling the truth, you can grow and realize your potential. Realizing your potential means a successful and fulfilling life. You do this by going out, exploring the world, meeting and overcoming challenges. This idea was neatly encapsulated by Mark Twain, and I quote, 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did. So, throw off the bowlines, sail away from the safe harbour, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover. Research shows that when we confront challenges head-on like this, new genes actually get switched on in the brain, which code for new proteins and create new structures. So, in a very physical sense, we change when we grow. Challenging yourself by confronting the unknown will inevitably mean that you gather knowledge and information in the process. You become more experienced, knowledgeable, and skilled. Learning means the death of old ideas, which are then reborn as better ideas. This form of reorientation can be incremental, but some things we learn knock us for six. These are the hard-learned lessons of life, and recovery can be hard. But the harder the lesson, the greater the potential for growth. If you speak up for the truth as you see it, the conflicts that you encounter will make you more mature and responsible. Saying no when it needs to be said is speaking the truth. You'll change yourself into someone who can say no when it needs to be said. You become more assertive. So to sum up then, tell the truth and don't lie. Don't lie to avoid trouble. Telling white lies to avoid hassle or hurt feelings is just storing up trouble for later. Don't tell lies to manipulate people to get what you want. Instead, if you speak openly and honestly with people, they'll trust you. Don't lie to yourself about your situation. Look at the harsh reality of life without avoiding the truth. Formulate your values and goals in light of all the facts. Don't lie to yourself about how much you know. Be humble. Realize that your knowledge is limited. Never stop learning and reformulating your ideas. In this way, you'll improve and grow. Compare your desired destination with the present. Figure out what you've got to do to move towards it. Don't lie to yourself or others as you work towards your goals. Pay close attention to what you do and what you say. A little voice within you, your conscience, will tell you when you're not being truthful. Tell the truth, or at least don't lie.